Okay, so we are inside the TV station here at KCBD. I'm walking down the hallway. All our hallways are lined with old pictures and memorabilia of the station when it was started. Right behind me is a picture of all of our old logos. Look at this, isn't this kind of cool? Wait, hold on. I don't know if I can do this. There we go. Aren't these awesome? This is probably my favorite one from back in the day. So this is the sales department. Luckily, this is where all the money is made. They know what they're doing. We got an A sitting there. It's after hours. What are you doing?
Hey,
making money.
that money.
If you want to make money in TV, that's where you work, is in the sales department. Okay, people ask me all the time, who does hair and makeup? I'll show you our wonderful makeup room. That's it. There's my stuff and Shaylee's stuff. We got Shaylee's stuff down here on the floor. Oh, hey there. So that's where the magic is done on our faces. Yeah, we do our own hair and makeup. I only know one hairstyle. I don't know what my hair will be tomorrow, which is today that you're watching. My guess is maybe a ponytail, because it's all I know how to do except what we call my hair helmet. And so you get my hair helmet on TV, and that's about it, because I know nothing else. I'm going to take you into the studio. Karen and Abner, there's John Robinson right there.
Howdy again.
We'll hear from John coming up in just a little bit. He's got some an interesting perspective on what we do, because of course he's in the weather. So I'm walking down to our control room where the newscast is taking place. You would think I would edit all this together to make it pretty for you, but I'm not.
You know what I should have put? I should have put a picture of a big dog back there.
So I'm guessing there's Gloria. You'll hear from Gloria coming up here in just a little bit too. Andrew is running audio. Andrew's also a director. Actually, all of the guys in here are directors. And then this is the newsroom. This is where all of the magic happens during the day. Amanda is our associate producer, so she's in charge of all the video. Presley is one of our reporters. She's nightside tonight, so she'll have a story tonight. And this is where all of our reporters sit. Shaylee's our investigative reporter. She also does our noon show, and she's working on kind of a story that'll ruffle some feathers tonight.
I've already been getting emails.
Uh-oh.
People are not happy. So tonight, which this will have aired, I guess, last night when you see this, we're talking about elected officials who have unpaid property taxes and they haven't paid their federal income taxes. So, you know, of course, we gave them a heads up because we definitely want them, you know, to hear their side of the story. And one of them, they are out of state, so they sent us a statement that we're including, and then another one rushed to pay them today. But we're also, you know, we're not going to not include that she hadn't paid them until we started making phone calls. So, yeah, it's a little bit of a controversial story, but something that I think we're responsible to tell people in our community.
And this is one of those stories where you're on a deadline and have a whole lot of information that you're trying to push in.
Yeah, it's like you have all of this, and you know, I had something at 6 o'clock, and then I have a big like 5-minute story at 10. Typically, our stories run about 2 minutes. So if you want to kind of look, I'm writing a web story right now because I want this to be ready to go when the story airs.
Which is another element of what you do as a reporter.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And so then here's kind of what our editing system looks like. We use Edius. So I'm making some graphics because we have a lot of numbers, and when you have a lot of numbers, you want to be able to show them visually. I'm sure like as an anchor too, when I anchor the noon, and if we're talking about tax rates or unemployment and we say numbers, you definitely want to have something visually. So it's kind of hard when you have something that's, you know, just a lot of data. But, you know, we do what we can to make it interesting because that's what, you know, we have visual elements, but it's challenging, but it's really fun.
As she says with a beautiful smile. This is the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Abner Uresti. Abner, how long have you been in TV?
More than 40 years. Wow. That's right.
That's okay.
That's right.
So just a couple of years. What have you seen, or how have you seen news change in 40 years?
Oh my goodness. Where do I start? When I first started TV news, we shot film. Yes, that's right, film. Chuckle, chuckle, Christy.
But do you think people who are 18, 19, 20 even know what that really means?
Sure they do.
Okay.
Yeah, they know about film.
Splicing and...
Maybe not, yeah. Splicing and you couldn't use like the same shot over and over like some people do now, and shouldn't be able to because they loop it and you see the same thing over and over, and I just hate that. Anyway, we couldn't do that in film. It went to videotape, late 70s, and it was big fat tape like this, and the cameras were huge, they were heavy, poor photographers. And then everything has been getting smaller ever since, smaller and smaller, to now where you can shoot with your phone. That has changed a lot. Satellite changed everything. A lot of things changed everything, but satellite, we could go live anywhere in the world because of satellite. Before then, we couldn't. Everything was pretty much on a delayed basis. I covered the earthquake in Mexico City, and I pretty much took the tape there, and they were like, "We'll see you when you get back." I couldn't send the stories back, so brought everything back and then put my stories together here. Just think how different it is now. Everything is just instant. The biggest change is how easy it is to get video. When we report on something, you want to see it. People at home want to see it. If we tell you about, the volcano exploding or erupting, you want to see it. You don't just want to hear about it. Everything, even with dash cams now, we see everything, and no telling what you might see that day. So that has changed a lot, and of course the internet. That really has changed it all because of how quickly we get information, how quickly information can be shared. Social media, good and bad. That's where fake news came from, because it's so easy to put fake news out there. Pardon me. But we get it. We get social media, and it's a big part of what we do now, because we operate on several different platforms. It's not just broadcast. It's not just the 6 and 10 news. You know what's happening long before that because of
Good evening. Thanks for
social
joining us.
media, because of the web, because of all these different platforms that we use to inform you about what's going on.
Great, thank you, Abner. We'll get out of your way.
Oh, sure.
And here's Karen.
Hi.
Karen, say hello. She's speaking to a
Hello.
class at Texas Tech.
You know what the biggest change for us every night is? Whether these little things will work or not. It's very frustrating. I mean,
I'm going
it's
to
an-
show them what you're
it's
talking
progress,
about.
but then it has taken me like 30 minutes to get this to come on. So,
Don't you love technology?
and then sometimes we have them. Sometimes you'll say Abner has paper. Sometimes I have this because it's just life in the news business now.
Technology sometimes
Yes.
doesn't work, but that's okay.
Thank you guys. Have a
coming
great
up-
show.
You too.
Uh,
Tomorrow.
It's good to
when
talk
you
to
come
y'all.
back.
It's good to see y'all. Good luck. Okay?
Good luck. Hope we
Whatever
see you in this
decide to
business
do.
someday.
Yes, that'd be great.
This is Gloria De Leon.
Hello.
Okay, Gloria, you have kind of a not typical story about getting into the news business. You didn't grow up wanting to be in the news.
I didn't think it was something I could actually achieve.
What
I
do you
don't know
mean?
why. Like, I just always saw people on the news as like celebrities, and that's just probably not what I would end up doing.
So what's your normal day like?
My normal day, well, it depends what day.
Let's say you're actually reporting on
Okay,
this
if I'm
day.
reporting, okay, so typically we'll come in around 2 o'clock, and then from 2 to 2:30 is the time that we're searching for story ideas, making calls on our stories, so that, we can set up interviews before we go into our meeting at 2:30. And so that's our time, just so that stories don't kind of fall through or anything like that. And then at 2:30 we'll go in and we'll pitch our ideas, and then everyone in the room, which includes like our news director, assistant news director, managers, producers, everybody's in there, and we kind of go through what's going on for the day and kind of what we want the reporters to work on. So from that meeting you kind of learn what you will be working on, and so from there you just kind of hit the ground running to get your interviews ready and set up so that you can come back and edit your stories. And typically for Nightside, coming in at 2, we'll, unless there's breaking news or something that's happening before the 6 o'clock, we'll kind of focus on the 10 o'clock, and so we will just work on our package that airs at 10. We'll go live, or we'll be on set, and then from there we got to do our web stories and post to social media, and then also we leave a story for our morning show.
So you don't just go on television?
No. That's the least of my worries is going on TV.
What piece of advice, I'm putting you on the spot here, but
Okay.
if there was one piece of advice that you could give to either someone who's in college and wants to get into broadcast or someone who's soon to graduate college?
Work hard, because nothing comes easy, and especially in this business. You have to be persistent and put in the effort. People aren't always going to want to jump at the opportunity to talk to you for an interview. So you kind of have to work at that and, you know, be persistent and call as many people as you can. And then we are literally working, I want to say, the 9 or 10 hours I'm here a day. There's no 8-hour shifts here.
And there's no lunch break?
There's no lunch break, unless you can swing it.
Oh, today's an abnormal day. I was going to say, usually there would be like food here.
Yes. Oh, well, it's in the trash.
It is.
But food was brought to me today.
Which is really nice when that happens.
Yes, but I usually keep like mac and cheese or like easy mac in my desk just in case. It's just one of those days. Also, I live in the drive-through, just to swing by real quick and grab something, which isn't the healthiest.
And I bet you make a whole lot of money, don't you?
No. Which is, I'm surprised I can afford as much drive-through as I get.
Dollar menu?
Yes. I was just telling everyone I got the Taco Bell has a really good dollar menu now.
Taco Bell does?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't
so
know that.
keep that in mind.
Enjoy fast food for a
Yes.
small price.
Yes.
What is your most memorable story or something that you've covered?
I want to say my most memorable is when I got to go to honor flight.
So knew you were going to say that.
Yes.
The best.
I am a military brat, so I kind of moved around. My dad was in the Army. So I had the amazing opportunity to go to DC for honor flight with our area veterans here who fought in World War II, the Korean War, Vietnam War, and go to DC. We actually flew on the plane with them and covered every aspect of the trip and watched them see the memorials built in their honor. And I can't tell you how much that touched me. It was great.
What would you say that a college student at Tech would need to, because you went to Tech, that a college student at Tech would need to take advantage of while at school to have a future in broadcast?
I would say I honestly didn't have a realistic expectation of how real life news would go, because you have a week to turn a package in your classes. I would take advantage of as many internships as you can and do as much as you can in your internships. I interned at a different station here, and the reporter I worked with let me do a lot. And, you know, we're always open to letting interns do as much as they want. Also, maybe do more packages or more stories on your own time and try to, you know, rush that so that you have a more realistic sense of how daily turns work, because you don't have, sometimes you'll have 30 minutes to put something together to go on air. And then also I would say writing, because writing was really hard, because I think in school, at least when I went to school, I think I was more focused on web writing and, you know, how the paper writes, but it's very different to broadcast writing. And so if broadcast is where you want to go, I would try to practice as much as you can with that. Very active and short and concise.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Don't mean to push you.
Okay, we know it's not news time yet because Karen's never out here before Abner.
No.
But we do have to hurry because it's almost news time.
Okay.
But I want to ask you, Karen, maybe a piece of advice that you would have for college students wanting to get into the broadcast business.
My advice is attitude. The most important thing you can do is come into a newsroom with a great attitude where you want to do anything, you like to do anything, you like to write. We see so many people who get out of Tech and they really never took English seriously, and Abner and I are huge on making that a real commitment to our newscast. And we have to speak correctly, because if we don't, somebody out there is going to write us or call us and tell us that you don't say he did bad, he did badly. So we're going to hear from somebody about it. So let's get it right before we get on the newscast. So for sure, I would take grammar, English very seriously in your studies. But then beyond that, I think even if there's some things that just aren't right with you coming into this newsroom because maybe you feel like you're not really prepared, you can go a long way on a good attitude. if you get along with people well and you want to just do anything and learn as much as you can, then there are a lot of us in the newsroom that would love to spend extra time helping you get where you want to be, rather than the person who comes out of tech feeling like that they have learned what they need to know and want to start at the top or make a much better salary than they are. I mean, it's real obvious if you think like that, so just try to think, you know, I want to learn and I want to do whatever you want me to do, and I think you'll go much farther.
Wonderful. Thank you, Karen.
Sure. Good luck. Hope we see you in the newsroom someday.
Everyone knows our chief meteorologist, John Robinson. Hi, John.
Howdy there, Christy.
Well, a lot has changed since you first started in weather because, you know, we see the kind of the old movies where you stick something on a weather wall, and that's actually kind of how you started.
Yeah, it actually is. And when I came to work here, we had a background over in this other area of the studio, and it was magnetic. And so I needed to update the graphics, which meant I went to the store and I bought magnetic vinyl. And I would cut out the blue for cold fronts and the red for warm fronts and make high pressure symbols and stuff. And we still got a few of them stuck on some metal objects around here in the studio. Yeah, it's advanced to computers now, and obviously the focus used to be hand drawing and stuff from a meteorological standpoint, and we used to get our teletype weather data from the Weather Service, but now all the weather data comes in. You know, we've got a dozen computers in the background. We have Doppler radar, and that's a significant change. I'll just mention from a weather end that we can look at the storms now to see the cloud, the raindrop movement within the storm itself in the clouds, and that's how we can determine early about tornado development. We didn't have that until, you know, you got into the late 70s and 80s. So as far as looking ahead, whether you think about weather or TV in general, I think your emphasis is going to have to be on computers. Learn all you can, which I know you're going to know a lot already, but we're going into such a digital age now in streaming. The more that you can accomplish related to knowing how to do all of that, that's going to be the biggest benefit to you. Now, if you go into meteorology, obviously you're going to be using a lot of computers and a lot of math is involved in that. So you're going to learn the use of those, but digital is where it's going to be. You know, it's probably where we're going to be watching our newscast on these phones in the future. And obviously we have weather apps now. We do live weather updates through Facebook. We do our weather app updates on 2 or 3 times a day or more, depending on the weather. So it's really moving into an electronic age. It's going to be phenomenal changes in the media and stuff. I just hope that they always need a person to at least deliver the news and deliver the weather instead of just going to your weather app. That's my concern.
Well, someone has to figure it all out, John.
Yeah.
So
well, there's computers that can do a lot
No,
of that.
don't say that. Don't say that. We'll always need you. Thanks so much, John. These are actually some of the perks of working in the newsroom. There's almost always food somewhere, so that's always a bonus. Actually, the food today is because it's one of our reporters' birthdays. Okay, I'm coming in to talk to Ruben Villarreal. He is our assistant news director, and he's been here more than 17 years. Currently, or just recently, just hired three of our newest people. So how do you get your foot into the door? I want to work at a TV station. How do you even start that?
Well, your first step is to, of course, you want to try to major in, broadcast to be able to learn the ins and outs and everything. Then while you're in those classes, you're going to be able to have the opportunity to do internships to come to the television station and see how we do things on a day-to-day basis. A lot of people think the television is full of glamour, glitz and glamour. It's not really about that.
It's not?
No, it's not. You don't sit here and make hundreds of thousands of dollars just to be on TV or anything like that. There's a lot of work that goes into it. So first of all, I think those internships are valuable for you to be able to come in and see exactly what it is that we do on a daily basis. But then getting your foot in the door, a lot of people have their mindset of just, I want to be on camera. They want to be in front of the camera. There's several steps that you have to take in order to get there. And as you asked, how would you get your foot in the door? Really, I would do whatever job there was available at the time. There might be a production job. You can get your foot in the door that way. That's learning how to run cameras. That's learning how to do audio, graphics.
That's how we started.
That's exactly how we started. I started out on the morning show, worked here for 2 years on the morning show, and had to be up here at 4 o'clock every morning. So that doesn't sound very glamorous about being up at 4 in the morning. But yeah, that's just getting your foot in the door, through that route, or the route of maybe being a producer, and then while you get the hang of your writing and seeing how a show is put together, then you're able to get a little bit more experience there, and then maybe you can move into that on camera type thing. So those would be some of the things that I would recommend, just to kind of get your foot in the door right off the bat. Don't be discouraged if you don't get a reporting job right out of college or anything like that. It will take some time, but those are some of the things that I would say that you could do to get your foot in the door.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Ruben.
You're welcome.